Beloved soul, there comes a time in life when you sense something stirring, though you cannot yet name it. A shift in the unseen, a movement in the invisible currents, a divine rearrangement silently taking place for your highest good. Right now, at this very moment, you are standing on the edge of a transformation that has been prepared for you since before you were born. The problems you see, the delays you feel, the unanswered prayers that weigh upon your heart, they are not signs of neglect, but signals of preparation. For the Spirit moves in ways unseen, and when the time is right, what looked impossible will unfold as naturally as the dawn breaks the night. I want you to understand, you are not abandoned, you are not overlooked, you are being prepared for something greater than you can imagine. The silence you feel is not emptiness, it is the womb of a sudden miracle, and that brings us to the first truth of this message. God works in silence before revealing sudden shifts. There are moments in life when everything appears still, when no progress can be seen, and when prayers seem to echo back in silence. To the natural mind, this can feel like abandonment or delay. Yet the spiritual eye perceives a higher truth. God works most powerfully in the unseen realm, in silence, in hidden preparation. Think of a seed beneath the soil. For weeks, perhaps months, there is no visible evidence of growth. The surface remains unchanged, but beneath, life is stirring, roots are forming, and the pattern of a mighty tree is silently unfolding. The farmer does not dig up the seed to check its progress. He trusts the unseen process, knowing that silence is not death, but gestation. So it is with your life. While you are waiting, heaven is working. When your mind sees only stillness, God is orchestrating a sudden shift. The silence you interpret as delay is in truth divine activity hidden from human sight. What you thought was nothing happening was in reality everything happening. Many lose hope in this silent period. They demand instant evidence and mistake God's quiet workings for inactivity. But the truth is, silence is the language of the Spirit. The infinite moves without noise, without fanfare, without human announcement. The great rivers of change flow first underground before they burst forth in the open. Consider the story of Joseph, sold into slavery, forgotten in prison. For years, silence surrounded his destiny. There were no visible signs that his dreams of leadership would come to pass. Yet in that silence, God was arranging Pharaoh's dream, setting the stage for Joseph's release, positioning him to rule over Egypt. When the shift came, it came suddenly. In one day, Joseph moved from prison to palace. The silent years were not wasted. They were the preparation for the sudden unveiling. In your life, the silence is not a void. It is the womb of transformation. It is where divine strategy is being written, where unseen alignments are taking place, where hearts are being turned, where opportunities are being shaped, where resources are being gathered. The silence is not empty. It is full of movement, full of intention, full of God's invisible hand, arranging your breakthrough. This is why you must never confuse silence with abandonment. Never assume that because you cannot see progress, there is none. Your senses cannot grasp the full dimension of divine activity. Just as you cannot hear the earth turning on its axis, or the heart beating within your chest without instruments, so too you cannot always perceive the work of God in your affairs. Faith thrives in silence. True belief does not require constant reassurance from visible evidence. It rests in the knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen. The silence becomes a sacred space of trust, where you align yourself with the rhythm of divine timing. The sudden shift that God is preparing is being forged in silence, and when it emerges, it will not be gradual, tentative, or uncertain. It will be immediate, undeniable, and complete. What seems quiet today is the prelude to the thunder of tomorrow's breakthrough. Divine timing is never late, only precise. There is a rhythm to the universe, a divine order that governs the rising of the sun, the movement of the tides, the unfolding of a flower. Nothing in creation is late. Nothing in creation is rushed. Every event, every manifestation, every transformation arrives at the exact moment it is meant to. Divine timing is never late, only precise. The human mind grows impatient. It sets deadlines. It demands instant answers. It measures progress by the ticking of the clock. But the eternal spirit does not bow to human time. It operates on divine order. What seems like a delay is often a precise orchestration. What feels like waiting is in truth the alignment of all elements, so that the shift arrives at the perfect hour. Think of the birth of a child. No amount of wishing, urging, or forcing can bring forth the baby before its appointed time. The mother may long for the end of pregnancy, but nature insists on the proper development of the child. If delivered too soon, life is fragile. If too late, life is endangered. The perfect moment of birth is precise, neither rushed nor delayed. So it is with your destiny. The sudden shift God is preparing will not arrive a moment too early or a moment too late. It will appear at the exact instant when all conditions are ready, when your soul is prepared, when the outer circumstances can sustain the blessing without collapse. Divine timing does not only consider you, it considers every person, every situation, every hidden detail connected to your breakthrough. A business opportunity may require another individual to make a decision. A relationship may need another heart to soften. A career door may demand that a certain role first be vacated. What looks like delay is actually precision, God aligning the entire tapestry so that your moment arrives flawlessly. You may recall stories where doors opened suddenly for people at what seemed like the last possible moment. The pattern is always the same. God waits until the perfect time, then releases the blessing in a way that leaves no doubt it was his hand. The Israelites leaving Egypt did not depart in their own chosen hour. They left at the exact moment the oppressor released them, and their timing aligned with the parting of the sea. Had they left earlier, the path would not have been ready. Had they delayed, they would have missed the opening. Divine precision ensured their victory. Your impatience can blind you to the perfection of God's order. You may look at your life and say, I should be further by now. I should already have this or that. But every stage you have passed, every lesson you have endured, every delay you have felt has been part of the precision. If the blessing came too early, you might have mishandled it. If too late, it might have lost its power. The sudden shift comes at the exact moment when it will serve your highest good. This truth frees you from anxiety. It releases you from the tyranny of time. You do not need to pressure yourself, compare yourself, or despair. The infinite knows the hour. The schedule of heaven is flawless. All you need do is trust that your season will not pass you by. The moment of your shift is already marked in eternity, and it cannot be denied. What seems like a setback is a setup for breakthrough. Every soul encounters moments that feel like loss, rejection, or failure. To the human eye, these moments appear as closed doors, dashed hopes, or wasted effort. Yet from the higher vision of spirit, what seems like a setback is often the hidden preparation for your breakthrough. The very thing you call defeat may be the bridge to your destiny. Think of a seedling pushed down by heavy soil. To the observer, it may look as if the little sprout is being smothered, but in reality, the pressure of the soil strengthens its roots, anchors it deeper, and prepares it to rise with greater resilience. Without that pressure, it could not withstand the winds when it emerges. What looks like a burden is the very condition for its survival and success. So it is with you. The setback is never meant to destroy. It is meant to shape, to redirect, to fortify. The relationship that ended may seem like loss, but in truth, it clears the way for one who is aligned with your soul's purpose. The job you did not receive may sting in the moment, but it redirects you to an opportunity far beyond what you had imagined. The delay that frustrates you is in fact a training ground where your character is being refined for what is ahead. Every great figure in history has walked through setbacks that later revealed themselves as stepping stones. Moses fled Egypt in fear, yet his years in the desert prepared him to lead his people to freedom. David was chased into caves, hunted like prey, yet those caves became his school of trust, his furnace of faith, preparing him for the throne. The cross itself appeared as the ultimate defeat, yet it became the door to resurrection and eternal victory. In your own life, the pattern is the same. The so-called setback is not a verdict against you. It is a divine arrangement for you. The unseen hand is positioning you, not punishing you. Often the setback dismantles your reliance on lesser things, so that you may place your trust in the infinite alone. It strips away what cannot remain, making room for what must come. Notice how often a closed door has spared you from harm. The relationship that broke your heart may have been the very chain that would have bound your destiny. The job you lost may have been the path to stagnation, keeping you from the greater call that awaited. The plan that collapsed may have been too small for the greatness within you. The infinite sees what you cannot. What you call a detour is in fact the true road. You must therefore shift your perspective on setbacks. Do not resist them in bitterness. Do not curse them as though they are your enemy. Instead, bless them as hidden friends, for in them lies the seed of the sudden shift. Say within yourself, this is not the end. This is the hidden beginning. This is not loss. This is preparation. This is not rejection. This is redirection. When you adopt this higher vision, the sting of the setback dissolves into peace. You begin to see life not as a series of random misfortunes, but as a guided journey where every apparent fall is but the curve that carries you to the summit. In this awareness, you cooperate with the divine instead of resisting it. You recognize that what seems against you is secretly working for you. The infinite never wastes pain, never squanders an experience. Every tear, every trial, every disappointment is woven into the fabric of your destiny. What seems like a setback is, in truth, the divine architect rearranging the pieces for your breakthrough. Faith aligns you with the unseen preparation. Faith is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind hope. Faith is the inner knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen, that the invisible preparation is greater than the visible evidence. When you walk in faith, you align yourself with the unseen activity of God, and you live as though the shift is already accomplished. Look at the wind. You cannot see it, but you see its effects in the bending of trees, the rustling of leaves, the ripples on water. The wind is invisible, yet it is undeniable. So too is the preparation God is orchestrating in your life. Faith is the eye that perceives this invisible work, even when natural sight sees nothing. When you stand in faith, you declare, I trust the unseen hand of God more than I trust the visible conditions of my life. The bills may be on your table, the diagnosis may be in your hand, the circumstances may appear immovable, yet faith knows that the unseen realm holds the solution, the provision, the healing, the breakthrough already formed. Faith aligns your vibration with the infinite. It tunes your inner frequency to the melody of the divine. Just as a radio must be tuned to the right station to catch the signal, so too must your soul be tuned through faith to catch the broadcast of heaven. Without faith, the signal is present but unheard. With faith, you become a receiver of the divine message, a vessel for the unseen preparation to manifest. Consider Abraham, who walked in faith, though he had no evidence of a child. His body and his wife's body were beyond natural ability, yet he aligned himself with the unseen promise. He acted, he spoke, he believed as though it were already accomplished. In time, the unseen became seen. Faith is not merely believing in the future, it is embodying the reality now. It is speaking with thanksgiving before the shift arrives. It is walking with confidence while the silence continues. It is smiling in peace when others frown in fear. Faith says, I already have it, though I do not yet see it. I already live in it, though it has not yet appeared. When you hold such faith, the unseen preparation accelerates its unveiling. You draw to yourself the very thing you believe. You create a magnetic field of expectancy that attracts the divine order into your visible experience. This is not imagination. It is spiritual law. What you believe with conviction must manifest. For the unseen and the seen are but two sides of one reality. Without faith, you resist the shift. Doubt blocks the flow. Fear clouds the vision. Anxiety distorts the alignment. But with faith, you remove the obstacles and allow the current of divine power to move freely. You become a channel channel through which the sudden shift can emerge without delay. This is why you must guard your faith as the most precious treasure of your soul. Do not let circumstances steal it. Do not let time erode it. Do not let voices of fear drown it. Feed your faith with affirmations of truth. Strengthen it with visions of your breakthrough. Water it with gratitude as though it were already complete. Faith is the bridge between silence and manifestation, between preparation and revelation, between the unseen shift and its sudden appearance in your life. Sudden shifts are God's signature move. Throughout the ages, divine intervention has often come, not gradually, not in measured steps, but suddenly like lightning across the sky, like dawn breaking after the darkest night. Sudden shifts are not exceptions. They are the very signature of God's movement in human affairs. What once appeared hopeless becomes transformed in an instant when the higher power steps in. Look at the pattern in Scripture and history. The Red Sea did not part slowly over days. It opened in a moment, creating a path where there had been none. The walls of Jericho did not crumble brick by brick. They fell flat in a single shout. The blind man's eyes were not healed by years of therapy. They were opened in an instant. Paul and Silas did not spend weeks breaking out of prison. Their chains fell off suddenly at midnight when the power of God shook the foundation. The suddenness is the mark of the divine. Why? Because sudden shifts remove any illusion that human strength alone brought the breakthrough. When events change in an instant, you know beyond all doubt that it was not your limited power but infinite power at work. The suddenness glorifies God and reminds you of the supernatural reality in which you live. In your own life, the sudden shift may come in ways you least expect. The phone call that changes everything, the opportunity that arises overnight, the healing that manifests swiftly, the reconciliation that happens without explanation. You may have waited long in silence, endured years of preparation, but when the moment comes, it will not creep. It will arrive swiftly, dramatically, unmistakably. The sudden nature of God's move teaches you to stay ready. You cannot predict the hour, but you can prepare your heart. You may not know the day, but you can live in expectancy. Just as a woman prepares the nursery before the child arrives, so must you prepare your inner world for the breakthrough before it appears. The suddenness does not allow time for last-minute readiness. It requires that you be aligned beforehand. Think of how many have testified of years of waiting, then suddenly everything turned. They prayed, they endured, they trusted, and then in one day their situation shifted. The debt was cleared, the sickness reversed, the opportunity opened, the relationship restored. These sudden moments are not accidents. They are the fingerprint of God on your life. Do not be surprised if your life takes a sudden turn upward, beyond what you planned. That is the pattern of spirit. Long seasons of preparation, followed by swift transformation. The sudden shift is God's way of showing that what was impossible to you is effortless to Him. The outer world responds to inner conviction. The world you see outside is but a mirror of what you hold within. Your thoughts, beliefs, and convictions shape the fabric of your outer experience. The principle is eternal. As within, so without. When your inner conviction is strong, steady, and aligned with truth, the outer world has no choice but to respond in harmony. Most people live in reverse. They allow the outer world to dictate their inner state. If circumstances are favorable, they feel peace. If circumstances are harsh, they feel despair. But the true law operates from the inside out. The inner conviction is the cause, and the outer condition is the effect. Shift the cause, and the effect must follow. Think of a radio transmitter. The broadcast signal originates within, and the receivers pick it up outside. Your conviction is the transmitter, sending out vibrations of faith, confidence, expectancy, and gratitude. The world then reflects those vibrations back as opportunities, relationships, and events that match your frequency. When you are convinced inwardly that abundance flows in your life, you begin to see doors open, resources appear, and solutions arise. When you are convinced inwardly of healing, your body responds, aligning itself with the pattern of wholeness. When you are convinced inwardly of favor, people are drawn to you, circumstances bend in your favor, and what once seemed difficult becomes smooth. This is not fantasy, it is law. The outer world cannot resist the pull of a deep, unwavering conviction. It may delay, it may appear to resist at first, but persistence of belief reshapes even the hardest conditions. A stone is worn down by water, not through force, but through steady, consistent flow. Likewise, your conviction wears away the outer resistance until it yields to the inner decree. Notice how those who expect failure, misfortune, or betrayal often experience it repeatedly. Their inner conviction draws such outcomes like a magnet. Conversely, those who expect good, who carry a deep sense of blessing and possibility, find that opportunities seem to pursue them. Life bends to meet the conviction of the heart. Your task, therefore, is to cultivate inner conviction deliberately. Speak the truth until your mind accepts it. Affirm the reality of your breakthrough until it feels natural. Visualize the outcome until your subconscious is saturated with it. Live as though it is already yours, and the outer world will respond in kind. This is why faith cannot be casual. A half-hearted belief, a wavering expectation, cannot command the outer world with authority. Conviction must be total, steady, unshaken by appearances. When you hold that level of certainty, even mountains must move, even seas must part, even chains must fall. The sudden shift God is preparing will come in direct proportion to the conviction you hold. If you believe in delay, you will see delay. If you believe in breakthrough, you will see breakthrough. If you believe the world is against you, it will appear so. But if you believe that all things are working for your good, then even setbacks will serve your destiny, and every closed door will lead to a greater opening. The law is impartial. It does not discriminate between positive or negative conviction. It simply reflects. This is why you must guard your mind, protect your words, and align your inner state with truth. The outer world is listening, waiting, and responding. Expectancy magnetizes blessings. Expectation is a force, a magnetic current that draws unseen possibilities into visible form. When you live with expectancy, you are declaring to the universe that good is on its way, that doors are about to open, that what you have prayed for is already moving toward you. Just as iron filings rush toward a magnet, so do opportunities, resources, and people rush toward the one who expects them. Expectancy is faith, clothed in anticipation. It sharpens your awareness, tunes your inner ear to opportunity, and guides your steps into alignment with divine timing. Those who expect little receive little, but those who expect much enlarge the channel of their lives for abundance to flow. Gratitude accelerates manifestation. Gratitude is the secret accelerator of manifestation, the spiritual fuel that quickens every blessing. To give thanks before you see results is to acknowledge the reality of the unseen, to claim it as already done. Gratitude lifts your vibration from longing to fulfillment, from waiting to receiving, from fear to faith. The grateful heart becomes a magnet of multiplication, drawing more of what it appreciates. Just as sunlight accelerates the growth of plants, gratitude accelerates the growth of blessings in your life. It dissolves resistance, disarms doubt, and transforms your consciousness into fertile soil where divine ideas can take root swiftly and flourish beyond measure. Closed doors are redirections, not rejections. Every closed door you face carries within it a hidden blessing, for rejection is often divine redirection. What seems like a denial is in truth a higher guidance moving you from what is less to what is greater, from what is temporary to what is eternal. A closed door protects you from paths that would drain your strength or diminish your destiny, even when at first you cannot see it. The infinite sees beyond your present desire, arranging the flow of life so that you walk into rooms prepared for your growth. Each no you encounter is an unseen yes pointing you toward alignment with your true purpose. Just as a shepherd blocks walks dangerous paths to guide the flock safely, so too are your steps ordered by doors that refuse to open, ensuring you arrive exactly where you are meant to be. The shift will arrive swiftly and unmistakably. When God moves, the shift is not vague, partial, or uncertain. It comes swiftly, decisively, and in a manner that leaves no doubt it is divine. What lingers for years in waiting can change in a single day, a single hour, even a single moment. You will sense the clarity of it, for the change will align perfectly with your deepest prayers and carry the peace of heaven upon it. Circumstances will rearrange themselves as if by invisible hands. People will appear at the right time. Opportunities will line up in ways human planning could not achieve. The suddenness itself is a testimony, for it shows that the shift was not manufactured by your effort, but delivered by divine power. Just as dawn instantly breaks the night, so too will your breakthrough arrive with unmistakable light. You have now walked through the timeless laws of spirit, how silence precedes breakthrough, how divine timing never misses its mark, how setbacks are but setups, how faith aligns you with the unseen, how sudden shifts are God's signature, how conviction shapes the outer world, how expectancy magnetizes, how gratitude accelerates, how closed doors redirect, and how the shift itself comes swiftly and unmistakably. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. It is the eternal rhythm of divine law in motion, and when you align with it, your life ceases to be ruled by chance or fear. It becomes guided by certainty, peace, and supernatural assurance. So hold fast to faith, live in expectancy, give thanks in advance, and watch as God ushers in a sudden shift beyond your imagination. Remember, your setback is not the end. It is the seed of your breakthrough. Your silence is not absence. It is preparation. Your delay is not denial. It is precision. This message is brought to you by Emeng, and I invite you to return again and again, for each word is a seed planted in the soil of your soul, destined to bloom in due season.